All right, everybody, welcome in episode what? What is this? 5?
Epi 5, Cinco.
Don't know radio. How's it going, Kev?
Dude, it's going. My phone passed on to the other side today. Uh, like I think officially, I've had this iPhone SE for 4 years, and well, I think first of all, it was just utterly embarrassed by how long I hit snooze for this morning. But once I turned my alarm off, like my bed, it wasn't charging overnight, and then it died, and now it won't come back to life.
Yeah, it might have officially gone over today, Kev. I hate to break it to you.
It's fine. It's fine. I got it for my birthday in 2016. So it's been 4 years. I'm Team Cricket Wireless, Cricket Gang or Die. I'm about to go over to the Cricket store after this podcast and see what they can do for me.
Wow, I think the good people at Cricket should be able to help you. I mean,
Great people at Cricket. You know how we love to ride for underappreciated brands.
absolutely, absolutely, I do.
I ride for Cricket Wireless.
Yeah, I don't, but I think I'm gonna have to start.
Fuck your Verizon towers. I get unlimited 4G everywhere.
Everywhere you go,
Unlimited
even
4G.
Wyoming, allegedly.
Allegedly, even in Wyoming. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Speaking
bro.
of, or go ahead, Kev. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I apologize ahead of time for this pod. I will not have my ham horn to play at will. I don't have all my topics at hand, so we're gonna be there. We go. But the one thing I did do, and I gotta also address this off the bat. Last episode, I promised you, Boo. I said, Coach, I won't let you down. I said I wouldn't have any other audio issues, and guess what we had?
Audio issues.
We had audio issues.
Yeah,
Not today. Not
that's
today,
kind of
'cause I
like,
got this fucking mic.
yeah, that's why we had a mic now, and that's kind of like me. You know, you're like a sophomore quarterback, and I'm not really sure if I want to put you in the game or not because your practices have been a little spotty. And you say, Coach, I'm good to go. And I gave you the keys, you know. But now I think you're ready to roll. You're like a junior who's primed for a starting spot.
Yeah, this is my breakout season. We're looking to go 10-2, get a good bowl game, and ultimately I'm gonna decide not to declare for the draft because I'm kind of more of a team guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that for my senior year. So this is needless to say, it's all just part of the process. And we sincerely appreciate all the fans out here who've been patient with us, who aren't passing judgment. But listen, I spent a stack on this microphone, so this is it. It's now or
This is
never,
it.
folks. It's gonna work. I know
It's
it will.
time. It's
I know
time.
it
It's our
will.
time to shine. We're ready to go. Speaking of being ready to go, I went to Redbox this weekend, Kev.
Redbox.
Yeah, I love Redbox, and I just wanted to just give us a quick shout out to our sponsor. What's up, Redbox? And I also had to use a MapQuest map to get there because I had no idea where I was going. So thank you to MapQuest.
Wow. What movie did you get at the box?
The movie that I got at the box, Kevin, let me tell you about it, was it's
Total
called
bucks, SWAT.
a bar. But I got Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh,
Yeah.
that had like two big actors in it, right?
Yeah, Brad Pitt and I think DiCaprio. So the movie itself was a bit weird. I had to look it up
Love
afterwards. Yeah, but two amazing actors. And so it was good. I mean, I liked it, but I just want to give a quick shout out to Redbox before we begin, as usual.
Absolutely. Shout out to Redbox, fuck Netflix, fuck Hulu. I would also like to give a shout out to our official sponsor, All Occasion Tent Rental. Summer season up.
Yep.
Pun intended. Wow, I'm fucking on today. The
Yep.
summer is heating up, and if you got a grad party, you got a 4th of July party, a little post-coronavirus, you're trying to sell it, you need a tent, you need tables, you need chairs. Vogel, who should you hit up?
I've heard of it's pretty good. All Occasion Tent Rental.
All Occasion Tent Rentals. Not just any occasion, not just every occasion, all occasions.
Literally any occasion that you could think of. You think of an
So-
occasion, boom, gotcha.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They've been riding for us for 2 or 3 weeks now, so much love to All Occasion Tent Rental.
Kev, why don't you tell me something that you didn't know how to do or didn't know this week?
I did know. I got a do know this week. I set up a wood burning fireplace in Jenna's backyard. We went to Walmart, got one for her dad for Father's Day. First of all, just a general rule: anything that says wood burning is just music to a dad's ear. Dads love wood burning anything. I mean, a wood burning fireplace.
Anything.
I don't know what else burns wood besides fire, but yeah, so you get the picture. Just a nice wood burning fireplace. They love it. On the box, it said setup would take 30 minutes or less, which I was kind of confused because it's like, how are they establishing the standards for, like, I mean, did they say like the worst, like the most incompetent person in the world did this in 30 minutes, so it's 30 minutes or less? I don't know, but it actually took us more than 30 minutes, which is a little unfortunate, but we did it. I'm usually not good at stuff that requires you to follow directions like that, pictures, instructions, all that. But we did it. We got the fire pit set up and was really stoked on that. That's back-to-back weekends with the lady friend that we've been constructing things. I told you that last weekend we built a pool, and this weekend we put together a fireplace. So you could say I'm hot. I would say I'm pretty hot right now. What about you, Brooks?
I'd say you're scalding right now. And I feel like if you go 3 weekends in a row with your girlfriend and maybe even her dad of putting stuff together, that's kind of when like you're going to get married pretty soon. Maybe not pretty soon, but at some point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I'm absolutely putting in the work, just trying to make myself useful out there. You look for what can I do, coach? Give me something to do. I'm just trying to, contribute to the team as much as possible. Really, prove my value out there. So I think it went well.
Yeah, he's a we guy, not a me guy. That's the biggest way I describe Kevin. He's all about the we, not the Nintendo Wii, but the we as a collective unit. So, Kev, to answer your question,
2005.
Yeah, Wii baseball was always fun. And the golf.
Bro, every family in America in like whatever year it was in 2005 got a fucking Wii for Christmas.
Everybody.
There was just like 1 or 2 years where everyone got a Wii and got Wii Sports and they stopped playing it.
Stop playing it. And then I feel like Nintendo just kind of boofed the video game sector and then they just went straight to the Switch. I've never played with the Switch before. It sounds like fun. But, I mean, I think they could just ride with Mario Kart as their only game and still make billions of dollars.
Mario Kart is such a multi-dimensional game. It truly does not get the credit it deserves.
No,
and I agree completely. Not. I mean, I played on Switch. There's like Mario Party, which is with Switch, which is actually kind of fun to play in like a group of people, like pre-game scenario.
Oh yeah.
But,
you remember that? You remember that? Do you remember what's a pre-game?
Like before the game starts, when you're with coach in the locker room?
Yeah, like when I'm with coach in the locker room, or like my NCAA dynasty with Coach Dick Long. Like, does that mean like before I turn on the PlayStation or
Coach Richard Long?
Coach Richard Long. Excuse me, I forgot that this is a family-friendly podcast. So no, we can talk about Coach Richard here in a while, and also just what pregame means to us. But I'll go with something I don't know, Kev.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I went to a restaurant yesterday.
Oh, how did that go?
So it was unbelievable.
Tell me more.
It was called the Patio in Roanoke. Great place. I recommend it. Nice people, good food. But just the fact that like I was able to order a beer from someone and order my food and not have to like do anything in the kitchen, which I don't really have to anyway. Let's be honest. Right now, I'm living at home, but it was awesome. So, but the one thing I was a little frustrated about was, how, let's say I'm looking at a sheet of paper like this, and if you can't see me, I'll try to describe it. Let's just say I'm reading off a piece of regular sized 8.5 by 11 paper, right? Mm-hmm. And let's say there's something on the back. I don't know why the people who invented paper, the paper people, I messed that up, but we're going to keep going.
Keep going.
Why when you flip it over, sometimes you flip it over lengthwise and sometimes you flip it over horizontally, and you never know which way is it going to be, upside down or is it going to be right side up? So I've got some real beef with particularly trees.
Yeah.
Because paper does come from trees. So I don't know why the trees can't really figure it out and say, hey, like all the paper that we produce, let's just make it you turn your paper over the same way every time to get it right side up.
I agree. And when we're on the topic of restaurants, I thought about this. What kind of, here's my IDK of the week. I don't know. What person fills out the customer copy of the receipt? You go to a restaurant, they bring you 3 receipts back. I just want to know if there's someone, first of all, they don't care about the environment. That's a waste of paper.
Oh, absolutely.
Second of all, a receipt? Excuse me? In 2020, in this economy? No, thank you.
No, I don't want to see.
I don't need a receipt.
No.
I got an app. I got my bank account on my app.
Yeah, right. I'm going to look at my phones. If you're going to send it to me, send it to my email. But I swear, if you send me a promotional email after the receipt, I'm never frequenting your establishment again, ever.
Yeah. It's just that simple. And then you're on their promo list. You're getting texts on your birthday. It's this, it's that. So I just want to know.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're on a business trip and you have to expense it, and you like need a copy of your personal receipt. I just want to know like what percentage of people actually fill out that customer copy and keep it for their own records. It
I mean,
has to be around 8%.
Yeah, that sounds like the perfect number, 8%. I mean, it's got to be low. I get if like money's tight, maybe you're going to a restaurant, you don't know if you can afford it, but that's the only scenario I can think of.
Go to a restaurant.
Yeah, exactly. But then, if let's say you're going on a date,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe in this situation, the girl pays for the dinner because
Sure.
hey, it's 2020, whatever. And I'm just using this as an example, but like if she keeps the customer copy, are you concerned? Because I would be.
I would be. I think that's an instant red flag.
Yeah.
And that's a surefire way to get denied a second date.
Right.
I think you pick up that customer copy as a receipt. Woo, 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 woo,
right.
I'm
and I mean, if she was to say like I picked it up because money's tight, I'm like, all right, fair. But if she's wearing like a Dolce and Gabbana or like a purse and she's got like Louis Vuitton heels on, then like she picked up the customer copy because she's got or it could be either gender or whatever. They've got to screw loose.
Yeah. Been there before. I've been sitting in a restaurant and not had enough money on my account to pay for the bill.
Oh yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah, and one time I was wearing a Gucci belt, so I took it off. I gave it to the waitress. I said, "Hey, could we call it even? You could have my Gucci belt." And then she brought it back and like asked one of her coworkers to like look at it, and he said it was fake. And then I had to wash some dishes after that.
Yeah, and that's the kind of experience that'll shape your life.
You want to hear an experience that shaped my life? This past weekend, I was out with Jenna. There's a liquor store right by my house called Sobro Liquors.
That's what's
Side
up.
note, I think Jenna accidentally called it Sober Liquors instead of Sobro. Sobro is like South Broad Ripple. I just thought that was hilarious. Like there should definitely be a liquor store called Sober Liquors.
Yeah.
Just because maybe that could be our next venture.
Yeah. Ooh.
It's like, welcome to Sober Liquors. I don't know what your demographic is, but I think that's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
But so there's a song by. Let me paint the picture for you, sure, right?
Yeah, let's get the background.
Yeah, get the background. I got 2 bottles of wine from Oliver Winery. I think we had a sweet red and maybe a rosé. So I'm getting my wine on. Good weed white wine. I come alive in the nighttime.
Yeah.
You just wait on the traffic jam to finish, girl. The things that we could do in 20 minutes, girl.
I know. I was waiting for you to finish, but keep going. Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm waiting in line. There's 2 cashiers and 2 people at the cashiers, and a cop walks in, and dude has like a mustache and like not like the fun kind of mustache like I have, like the Army drill sergeant mustache. Any dude that has a mustache that is like blonde or red hair, like it means trouble. You got to steer clear. And this dude looked like a hardo, and he had his police badge like dangling on like a necklace around his chest. And he walked right in and looked at me while I was waiting in line. I made eye contact with him, and then he walked behind the cashiers. So I was like, "What?" I was like, "Are they in trouble, like this liquor store?" And then he just went behind the counter, and just stood there. So I don't know if they maybe hired him, like he's off duty and was doing security or something. You know what I mean? Like
wow.
Something like that. But so he was helping out the liquor store. But right after that happened, I was bumping some Lil Peep on my way there, and I was playing the song Yesterday by Lil Peep. He just put his Crybaby EP on Apple Music. It's on all streaming services. I highly recommend it. But he samples the song Wonderwall. You know that song?
Of course, that's a fantastic song.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
And I accidentally pressed something in my phone while I was all nervous because this cop with the mustache was staring me down, and it started playing the song, and all you heard was like the guitar like chorus of Wonderwall, and everyone in the liquor store looked at me. And aside from being Irish and Italian, it was probably the second whitest thing I've ever done in my life.
I mean, yeah. So they didn't even hear any of like Lil Peep's.
No, I had that turn. I got it turned off. I was like, oh crap, and I turned it off. But all they probably thought was that I was listening to fucking Wonderwall.
They thought it was your ringtone.
Volume on my phone. That's a tough scene, Bo.
That's a tough scene when that's your ringtone and you're in Sober Liquors. Like, this guy doesn't drink and he's got a Wonderwall ringtone. What's next? Does he keep the copy of his receipt at the restaurant? I mean, who is this guy?
Exactly. Your red flag after red flag. So,
Yeah.
I'm still trying to recover from that, but what can you do?
What can you do? I mean, that guy with the mustache just kind of rubs me the wrong way, just hearing about him a little bit. I mean, just the way you describe him just kind of irks me. But yeah, like, is there a type? Now you got me thinking about like liquor stores, and it's nice that those were still open during quarantine. I'm not gonna lie, but is there like any sort of liquor that you can't drink anymore? That like if you smell it, you just get rubbed instantly the wrong way? Because there's probably a few for me, but I'd like to hear from you first if you could.
All the liquors, literally every kind of alcohol, I have actual PTSD from. Like, I think I could like go to a doctor and they would diagnose, not to downplay any other serious issues, but I think I have clinical PTSD from alcohol. I'm not kidding you. Like just the smell of alcohol, like especially like a cheap vodka. You're talking your brunettes, your
Kamchatka,
Smirnoff, yeah, Kharkov.
dark
On
eyes. Yep.
that was college stuff, but tequila will make me like throw up in my mouth. Like really, the only thing that doesn't is like brown liquor.
Yeah,
And
it's nice.
that's what I could pull off if have to take a straight shot. But it's bad. I mean, I think it's because like I started drinking when I was like 16, and I like peaked at drinking by like 18. So now I'm like 23, and I could not be more washed up. Like I physically could not.
It takes a big man or a big person to admit that when they're washed up and to own it really.
Oh, washed up is to me. Washed up is it's a lifestyle. Okay, you gotta own it. You gotta own it.
You got to. You can't skirt around the issue. The worst type of person is the one who like either they don't know they're washed up or they're just in complete denial, or even they know they're washed up and they try to act like they're not, because you can immediately tell when that person is just trying way too hard.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that. And here's the thing. I'm not proud of it. I'm not happy to be this washed up. It's just the truth of the matter. So let me paint the picture for you. I'm out with Jenna this past weekend, and she has some hand sand in her car, right, in like one of the side drawers. So she has like a black interior. Her car got hot as hell. It was in the parking lot, and she pulled out her hand sanitizer and poured some. And she was like, "You want some?" And I was like, "Sure." And like the scorching hot, warm hand sanitizer literally sent like chills down my spine because it made me think of like just being like younger, like at the beach on Lake Michigan, like drinking warm vodka out of a water bottle. Literally, like that. That's like the PTSD it brought back. So it's not. I'm not happy about it. I wouldn't wish this life on my worst enemy,
No, it
unless it
doesn't
was
sound
the
great.
CEO of Netflix.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair. I get that. But I would say, going back to your hand sanitizer bit, when the coronavirus first happened and I was at home, we were like going through our closets because we're like, there's got to be some hand sanitizer in here somewhere. And so we went into my sister's closet, and I mean, she hasn't lived here for a while. She's in her late 20s. And so we in this bag, we found an old thing of hand sanitizer, right? And
Mm,
I didn't know hand sanitizer expired. That's a thing that it does. Yeah. So it does,
really?
no, for sure. So I open it and
You're
I'm like,
saying it's going to go from killing 99.9% of germs to no germs?
I don't know if it's no germs, but I think it could be like 13% maybe
Yeah,
after.
it could be anywhere. Exactly. I just think it falls a
Yeah.
little under that 99.9. So sorry, go ahead.
No, after doing no research at all, I think 13 is the number I've definitely come up with and I'm happy about. But I think, or no, what I was going to say, yeah, sorry, was that I like put it on my hands without even looking. I was like, oh, cool, hand sanitizer, bet. Because I had just gone to Sober Liquors and I was like, all right, I need some Sandy. So, I put it on, and then like the next day I had like this massive rash on my hands. And I was like, what? I haven't been anywhere besides like SL.
Right.
And so, yeah, I did. That's one thing I've realized, and I do know now, is that hand sanitizer expires. So that's like not cool.
Wow. Is that
Yeah,
your do know of the week?
yeah, that's my do know of the week, and I also have one more
I
that I
gotta
kind
let
of
the
want to.
people know. That's an urgent mess. Again,
Yeah,
for those who missed that, hand sanitizer expires.
it expires, and also coronavirus isn't over, people. So that's the only political thing I'll say. But
Moral of the story. Moral of the story is all good things that you love in life are going to leave you. Sorry.
No, I mean, I just got one thing to say about that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Dude, I need a new phone. I'm going crazy not being able to play the ham horn.
I know, and I'm just so off on it. I apologize to our listeners. But the one thing I do know is like I was talking to my cousin the other day, and she was, I told her about my podcast, and I don't think she's listened to it yet. So that's like my beef of the week, or one of my
Yeah,
beefs besides trees.
understandable.
But then she was talking like, "What do you guys talk about?" And I just named a few of the topics, and she instantly, I'm sure, loved it. Like, I mean, come on. But when I said something about how we were unofficially sponsored by Redbox, shout out to Redbox. And she was like, "Oh, like, what have you seen?" And so I said one movie that I won't name it. I won't say what it was because I honestly don't remember. But it was a movie I hadn't seen yet. And she goes, "Oh, like that's when so and so dies." And I was like, "Okay, spoiler."
Yeah, geez. Yeah, thanks for letting me know. Sweet.
Yeah, appreciate that. That's
Yeah, I
awesome.
won't
But I
talk
do
about it.
know how to talk about like movies and TV shows now on the show without people spoiling them for me, and I'll tell you how. So, like, but first of all, with Redbox, you just get the DVD, whether it's a game or or the video game, you just plug it in. You don't even have to look at your phone. It's not like streaming. But I will say, what I'm going to start doing on the show, maybe every week, is talk about a show that I'm not actually watching or that I've watched before, and then like talk about it, and then people are going to bring it up to me because we've got hundreds of listeners now, and they like to talk to me about what we're watching. So, like, for example, I'll talk about like Tom and Jerry, great cartoon, one of my favorites, right?
Sure.
So I'll be like, all right, cool. I have some notes written down here, people. So just bear with me. It's like, all right, Tom and Jerry's an awesome cartoon. Tom has Jerry backed into a corner. I can't wait to see what happens next week. Like, I bet next week he finally gets Jerry. And then some troll will say, like, oh yeah, no, he never gets Jerry. I'm like, duh, I already knew that. You're stupid. And then also I think another one would be like Game of Thrones. I know Kev hasn't seen this one, but I talk about it every episode. But
Go ahead. Go ahead.
and this is actually kind of a spoiler for you, but you won't remember this. Is like, okay, Starks are headed to a feast. So nice of the Freys to host them. Like, I'm so glad everyone's getting along in Westeros. I can't wait to see what happens next episode. Like, it's gonna be awesome. And then they're like, oh, everyone dies at the Red Wedding, and I'm like, yeah, I know. I can't believe I know that. So
Yeah.
that's one thing I'm gonna start doing. And like
that. You guys start baiting people.
yeah, I gotta start baiting people into think that they're smarter than we are because that's just not possible.
Yeah, it's not. Well, you said the Starks. You were talking about the Stark family.
Yes.
I didn't know Iron Man was in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Iron Man's in Game of Thrones. Spider-Man plays like a brief cameo in season 3. And I'm talking like Peter Parker Spider-Man, I think it was.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Not Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire. Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, the crazy thing is that like, yeah, Iron Man was kind of like the drunk uncle of the Stark family. But then when they saw like he had technology, they didn't know what that was. And so that was like actually how Game of Thrones ends, was Iron Man kind of just comes in and saves everyone.
Yeah, they're all worried about like dragons, and then
Yeah.
like Iron Man just kind of like comes and goes like, and like
Yeah.
sets the village on fire, and then the
Yeah,
show's
he's like,
over.
this was super easy. I can't believe you guys spent like so much time watching this when I could have just come in like for 5 minutes and it would have been over.
Yeah, a lot of unnecessary bloodshed. It seems like
Yeah.
throughout the whole series, when Iron Man was just going to come mop it up at the end.
Right. And so like the theme of that for me was like, is Iron Man a me guy or a we guy? Seems kind of like a me guy.
Yeah, Iron Man's definitely a me guy. Iron Man, I would compare to a Kobe Bryant. He realizes his own talent. Kobe was never the most selfless guy. He knew he was the best player he knew he was the best player on the floor, and he played as such. I think Iron Man's the same way. He knows he's the shit, and well deserved.
And well deserved. I mean, yeah, Iron Man is like probably I'd say behind like, I don't know which Stark, probably behind Catelyn Stark. He's probably the second best Stark, in my opinion, would be Iron Man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's probably what I would have to go with in terms of Game of Thrones. But yeah, I'm going to need some more clarification soon. And maybe we do a little bit more research on Iron Man. But Kev, one of the things you asked me to do research on for this one was a TV episode, actually. And it is on our rival streaming service, but we will talk about it. What was the episode you had me watch, and what did you think about it?
So I have this written down somewhere. So the show is called Dating Around. Oh yeah, it's season 2, episode 2, and this is a challenge to all of our listeners, all 5 of you. Ian, talking to you, my brother, my mom, please. Season 2, episode 2 of Dating Around on Netflix. There's this dude named Ben, and like I don't know, Jenna was watching that show, so I watched a few episodes. Not bad. I probably would definitely throw it on if I wanted something in the background. But my only qualm about the show was that it's it's every episode's different. So it's basically like one person, and they have like they get six. They matched up with like six random people. They take them on a first date. It shows the dates, and then it shows who they choose. They choose one person for the second date, and the show ends. So they don't even show the second date. So really, all you're kind of seeing is like a very like surface level like intro conversations, kind of on a first date. Naturally, pretty awkward, right?
Very,
I think
very awkward.
they do a good job on who they select. I think the people are really interesting. They have a lot of people with
Yes.
cool personalities. So point being, it's moderately entertaining to watch. They got this dude named Ben, season 2, episode 2, and I don't mean to like shit on this guy because it's not his fault. It's Netflix. I'm mad at Netflix that they put this on air.
Yes. Keep going.
They better have ran Ben a fucking bag. Because here's the thing, I don't know this dude. I don't know what he acts like in normal life. So he very well it's either one of two things. It's either like he's naturally just like he's one of those people who kind of has his quirks, and he's just a little goofy like that, and that's totally fine. That's okay. Or he was that painfully nervous because dude, he could not talk. He was just like laughing at everything, like it's like a train wreck. It's like you're was literally watching a live train wreck. This dude who was like just got out of a 10-year. Listen to this. I mean, this is
10 and a half year relationship.
He was in a 10-year relationship, and then his girl says, "I want to be in an open relationship."
Like when he said that was the reason why it ended, I mean, I already did feel bad for the guy. He seems like a great guy, like really nice guy, good character.
Exactly. You want him to win. That's the thing. You're rooting really hard for him.
Yeah, and I mean, if you put me in that situation on a Netflix show where I have to date like 5 different women, I'm gonna be painfully awkward as well.
Yeah, but the redeeming part about it was that he did kind of save himself.
He did.
Like it got better. So it was really painful at first, and then but like, dude, like I don't know how to explain it, but I was watching it and I had to put a pillow over my face. Like I couldn't look at the screen. Like I was like, my body felt like physically awkward. Like I didn't know what to do with myself. And this dude, your life might be bad, but your girlfriend of 10 years has yet to tell you that she wants to have sex with other guys. So life could always be worse. And I'm so happy for Ben. He got that second date. He turned it around.
And she was really cute.
Do you remember the part where, the first girl, she was kind of like a goth girl. She had
with the red hair.
Yeah, no correlation with the red hair. She just seemed kind of goth. And he asked her out on the second date in the Uber. In the back seat, and she says no. And then
she said, I just watched it. Like I just watched it like a half hour ago.
I was waiting for the Uber driver to say something. He's in the backseat of the Uber, like crying. Yeah, but dude, if I ask a girl out in the Uber, I hope the Uber driver pulls out his gun, turns around, and shoots me in the face.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably one of the most awkward things. But to me, the most awkward part was when he's okay. So lay a little background. He's a professor at the University of New Orleans, computer science. Yeah. So obviously, like really smart guy. He's very eccentric. He goes on a date, and the girl looks like younger than he does. I mean, he's not old by any means, but the girl's pretty young, and like a nice looking girl. She's mechanical engineering, so she's probably really smart. And he's like, what do you? Or he asks what she does, and she goes, "I'm a full-time student." And he goes, "Oh, where?" And she goes, "Oh, at the University of New Orleans." And you would have thought that, like, he would have seen a ghost because the look on his face was unbelievable. But the line to me is like, he's obviously tells her, he's very upfront about it, but he goes, "I'm not your professor. I don't know any of your professors, and I don't have any influence over your grades." And I was at that point, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's going to try to go with it. But at the end, he does kind of say to her, like, "Hey, I would feel more comfortable if we ran it past human resources." And I feel like at that point, she probably said, "I am out."
Here's the thing, because that girl, that girl was the least interested out of all of them.
No question.
Made it look like that. So that when he was like, "I'm going to have to run this by human resources," I could feel like in the back of her head, her being like, "Yeah, I'm never talking to you."
Never, no chance. And I mean, she was very graceful about it. She said, "Thank you so much," and like got in the Uber and just dipped.
Yeah,
But
she was nice. They were all the girls were really polite, and like I said, a few of the
yes,
ended up going really well. Like he redeemed himself. So but everyone was really good sports about it. But my last thing I'll say about this is that I get that he might have been nervous, but why I think it might just be his personal quirks is that the dude's a professor. He's
right.
a state school professor, so you think he gets up in a room of 100, a big lecture and gives lectures in front of hundreds of people. So it's like, I mean, I guess
I
people
mean,
get.
that's a good point. That's something I hadn't thought of in terms of him actually teaching. Like, you got to get up in front of people and teach
Yeah, you
multiple
gotta
times a
be.
day.
Yeah, especially when you're a young professor before you got like TAs doing your shit. I feel you got to be like a charismatic dude. You got to be able to
Yeah,
like public speak. Have interpersonal relationship skills, talking to students, helping them out. So it
right.
was just
It
moral
was
of the
tough to
story is you
watch.
guys got to watch that. It's a tough scene.
Yeah. Uh,
I would
th-
love to see it. I would love to get a where are they now on that
oh,
dude.
I looked it up.
Oh, please share.
Well, I mean, I only read one article. I'm not gonna lie, and it
Okay.
said, I mean, this just came out. I think like pretty recently. The article did at least about a week ago, and they said, he went on the second date. I think her name was Alex, and I do have a little beef with that. Like, it was so forced and so awkward when they went on the second date because Netflix made it so awkward.
Yep.
She like was standing on the street, or he was standing on the street with like a baguette, and she goes, "What do you have there?" And he goes, "I have a baguette," and that's basically it. They just walked away. So like that was terrible. I wish it would have been like maybe 5 months later. Is he dating her? Is he still single? Is he another girl? Like I would like that, but yeah. So on their social media, there was no posts. Long story short, Kev.
Oh, no post on his socials.
Yeah, on either social, and I don't think he follows her on Instagram, but she follows him. So yeah, tough buckets. But maybe he just doesn't get on Instagram. He's a college
I
professor.
love that from him. Playing hard to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, I think we might look it up, but that's one kind of show. Like when I was a kid, I couldn't watch American Idol because I hated seeing the people that were so bad and Simon just roasting him. Like I couldn't handle that to my core. So this was tough for me to watch, but I think he did end up doing a really good job.
Yeah, he did, and but the thing with me is that I never people like American Idol and those shows. It's like I never feel a ton of sympathy for the people who suck because it's like one, you didn't have the self awareness to realize you suck, and like did no one in your life did no one just be like, hey, like this isn't that good, like you know what I mean? Like
True. If
at least for this show, like he's trying to put himself out there,
yes,
like, and he's
yes.
he's aware probably of his shortcomings, but he's trying anyways, and I love that for Ben. I
Oh,
really do.
I totally agree with that. And I think it's kind of like the one thing I think about is the She Bangs guy from American Idol. Do you remember that video?
No, no.
All right. Well, I'll tweet it out later. Um, but yeah, that's what I think about that as well. But yeah, he did do a pretty good job. The other show that I'm watching right now, I actually can't tell you because I haven't finished it yet and I don't want any spoilers. But I'll say Love Island UK. I just won't say which season it is.
Okay,
It's
okay.
great show. Great show. If you need mindless television, like I often just need mindless television at the end of the day.
You're a
'Cause
big reality TV guy.
I am. I'm a big
Do
reality
it.
TV guy.
That's you. That's you. No,
That's
no
who I
shame
am.
there.
No, absolutely not. I got to own it. But I will say I do like Love Island better than I like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette because The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, it's just one person competing. Like, I'm sorry, like 20 something people competing for one. Whereas Love Island, it's like, oh, you're gonna proper fancy somebody and you're trying to snog them. Little UK slang, by the way. Yeah. If you're proper fancying them, then you gotta like crack on and see what happens. So that's a great show. What I recommend. But yeah, Kev, I appreciate you bringing that show to my attention today. That was I got to know Ben a little bit.
A bit sad, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't feel good, and I didn't really feel good about myself afterwards either because then I was thinking, like, if I ever go out on a date with anybody, like, is that what I'm gonna be like after 4 months of being just with my parents?
Yeah, dude, you should honestly. Can we get a video camera on your first date post quarantine? I would love to. I would love to be a fly on the wall in
I
that
think
one. Maybe
I
a
think that's a
little.
possibility. I think maybe whoever I date, like, or what if I'm going out on a date next, maybe the first date is she's just a guest on the podcast,
Wow.
and that
Dude,
and I feel like that could go a couple different ways. But I think one of the ways is like she's just nails it and she's automatically better than both of us. Would I be strong enough to handle that? I don't know. But also, if she just comes on and is like super awkward, is that endearing? I'm not sure. So I think that's something I got to think about, Kev.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really tough when you're not even the best podcaster in your own relationship. So, that could have, pose some issues down the line. But I'm all on board with this. I think, you talk about, meeting the parents, that kind of thing. It's like, no, come on a podcast with me and my boy, and let's chop it up.
That's
Like
right.
that will expose the fakes real quick.
And I think it'd be pretty funny if like we had you and Jen on and me and whoever this mystery person is, because we do, those games they play at weddings, like who is messier or who snores, and like you and
Yeah.
Jenna would probably get a pretty good amount of them, but me and this girl was just like complete guessing.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna
Absolutely.
start like getting angry with her because we're not winning, and she's gonna start getting angry with me, and I think that's the start to a healthy relationship.
Absolutely. Some pent up aggression. You don't talk about it because you're live on air. You go home, you let it go, you let it build up, and
Yeah,
you just never address it
you never
until 15
address it.
later.
Exactly, you never address it, and then you only like start bringing it up when you feel like it's the right time. Maybe when they're in a good mood, and you're like, this is the time to bring it up
Yeah,
now. Like I remember when we were on my podcast 16 years ago with Kevin. Like,
that was really shitty. I'm
yeah,
not
that was
not
super
okay with that.
sus what you did or what I did. So we're gonna have to talk about that now.
Yeah. Everyone knows rule number one in cultivating a healthy and lasting relationship. Actually, there's two rules. Don't acknowledge your emotions, and don't share your emotions. And once you do both of those, you should be
Yes,
pretty smooth sailing.
right. And always, yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think that's, we could just talk about like I think maybe our next podcast, just a total branch off podcast, would just be like talking about feelings, but it's just silence the entire time because you're never supposed to talk about your feelings.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of a little something like a pun, if you will, you know. So that's just my thought. I got a lot of
Yeah.
thoughts in here. Um
Absolutely. We have thoughts. Well, what do you say, Bose? You got maybe like 10 minutes left, max?
10 minutes, yeah, that's
We,
cool. I'm a little late to trim
yeah,
some bushes, but I think I'm gonna have to just blame it on our editor once again. Our editor made us late. um but I will say that Kevin has done a fantastic job keeping the Twitter alive while I've kind of just been like in my own world the past few days. So I appreciate that, Kev, from you. You've done a nice
of
job
course.
keeping the brand alive. So
Of
I'm
course.
happy to
That's
do
what I do.
this with you. Yeah, it's been great going. A nice little partnership we've got going on here.
Real quick, Bose, but before we wrap this, there's two things I wanted to get into. So I went to the grocery store last week. Did I just? Oh fuck! Did my voice just crack?
No, I think it might have been the Wi-Fi.
Okay. Yep, you're right. It was definitely the Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
Yep. I finished puberty. So I went to the grocery store last week, and I saw some toaster strudels in the refrigerated section. So I had to cop one. And actually, I wasn't even grocery store shamed while buying them. I was actually complimented. I had a really good conversation with the cashier. She was like, toaster strudels, she's like, I haven't seen those in so long. We started chatting, and she was like, I'm gonna buy some. I'm like, bet. I was like, I'll let you know next time I'm here how they turned out. And I had one over the weekend, and I had an out of body experience.
Yeah.
Like I
Oh,
actually, like I actually did. Like on the late night, like a nice heated toaster strudel, a little brownish. Like you want it crispy
yeah, but
with
not
the
too brown.
icing, with the icing. And it made me think, Vogel. You know, how you apply your icing says a lot about you as a person. You
Hmm.
know, are you really materialistic? You like the design, right? You like how your toaster strudel looks. Or are you a practical person? Are you reasonable? You want maximum taste. See, for me, I
Maximum
pour it all
coverage.
out in the center, and I take a knife and I spread it out over the toaster strudel. I want optimum icing over every inch of the toaster strudel. Whereas Jenna's doing a little doodle, blah, 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 blah. I can't get behind that. So that's my question for
No,
you, Bobo, is how do you apply your icing on a toaster strudel?
I think that's a great question, and I've got a couple points to go off that. I'm really glad you brought that up. I'm definitely a maximum coverage guy. I first of all, I'm a horrible artist, so I can't really go off any doodles. So I'm definitely a maximum coverage guy, just for the short answer. But yeah, I would compare the doodler to like an Instagram model, like in terms of what they like, not them as a person, but what they post, because I feel like everything has to just look perfect. But if you're eating a total toaster strudel, the whole point you're eating it is, in my opinion, for the icing. That's all. You might as well, and I would probably rather just eat the icing just straight up if it wasn't so socially unacceptable.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm a maximum coverage guy, and I know you are a maximum coverage guy. But Kev, uh, this got me thinking about Pop Tarts.
Oh, Pop Tarts very. I would say Pop Tarts and toaster strudels are kind of on the same playing field. You know what
I
I mean? They go
No
hand in hand.
question. Yeah. So my question to you is: do you toast your Pop Tarts or do you not toast your Pop Tarts?
Depends on the Pop Tart flavor.
Okay. So what's your go to, or I guess favorite Pop Tart flavor, and maybe what kind of Pop Tart do you toast and not toast?
You guys asked me like three questions in one. There was a
Yeah.
lot of layers to that,
I'm
Bogues.
sorry.
Let me just start by
That
saying,
was a lot of
let me
questions.
let me get, let me. What we originally here are some Pop Tarts I'd like to toast in the toaster:
Okay.
s'mores, cookies and cream, hot fudge, maybe a chocolate chip,
Mm.
maybe a brown
Brown
sugar
sugar,
cinnamon.
cinnamon.
Yeah, and every fruit flavor not toasted. So
No. No.
it's really like a chocolate versus fruit flavor kind of thing. Like, at least for me, because I like to dip it in milk when it's yeah,
Nice.
like
That's nice.
but like it would have to be like a chocolate flavor, like I said. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like
Of course.
I wouldn't heat up a strawberry Pop Tart and then dip that in milk. So like, but if it's like a s'mores or a cookies and cream, those are the ones I heat up. I get a cold glass of milk. Delicious,
Yeah,
delicious.
I love that from you, Kevin. I absolutely love that. I would pretty much echo that sentiment. I really don't eat a lot of Pop Tarts besides the frosted cherry. Frosted cherry, I kind of eat religiously. Um,
Fair.
yeah, but I appreciate that. And yeah, toaster strudels. Kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier. This got me thinking about what Ironman Mr. Stark would do for his Pop Tarts and toaster strudels. What do you think? His morning routine is in terms of his breakfast foods.
Ironman.
Yeah.
Um, Probably like takes a couple hits of his dab pen and then gets like a large iced coffee from Dunkin' and
Right.
like just starts his day.
Okay. I
I
think
was
that's probably
thinking,
fair. I think
yeah,
because he's a me guy, I think he might be one of those guys who only eats the center out of a Pop Tart and just leaves the crust, but he like leaves it in
mm,
the box still. And so when you go, you only find the remnants of a Pop Tart and you don't find the whole thing. And so that would just frustrate the hell out of me. So like Gwyneth Paltrow just must be upset all the time.
yeah, yeah. And and here's another thing: it's that if you're in a roommate, a family environment, you open up a pack of Pop Tarts, you're committing to eating both.
Yes.
And unless you're gonna go out of give me the air horn on that one. Unless you're gonna thank you. Thank you. Unless you're going to go out of your way to put it in proper, like a sealed plastic baggie to keep it fresh, do not be opening a packet, eating one Pop Tart, and leaving the other half there. That's that shit I do not like, Vogel.
Yeah, that is just heinous. That's a heinous crime.
Yeah.
Is just opening up a bag of Pop Tarts and only eating one. Because if you don't like the Pop Tart flavor, like you at this point in your life, unless you're like a small child, you should know what Pop Tarts you like. There's no sampling. Like if you're committing to eating two and you're not throwing Pop Tarts away either, like that's not cool. So I,
Exactly.
I
Nope.
appreciate that bringing to our attention, Kevin, and to our listeners. And one quick note about our listeners: I think we have 99 followers on Twitter.
Yes, we're so close to
We're
100. We're
so close.
so close.
I had a whole
Please
little Selly planned.
give us a retweet after you listen to this.
Yes,
So fucking close.
I had a Selly planned. I'm not gonna lie, but I can't
Ooh.
perform that said Selly because we've got 99 followers. And don't be that person that when we get to 100 unfollows us just so we have 99. Don't.
I'll find out.
Yeah.
I will download the Who Unfollowed Me app like I used to do
Yeah.
when I was 15. I will fucking find out who unfollowed me, and we will make your life very difficult.
And I'll
This
tell
is
you what
not a
I'll
threat.
do to them is I'm
Will
gonna start
you?
shipping boxes of Pop Tarts to their house, but each
Mm,
bag of Pop Tarts only has one, or maybe just the crust.
yep,
And I'll say thank you for nothing.
yep. And I'm gonna start saving the customer copy of all my receipts, fill it out, and I'm just
Right.
gonna mail them like 100 of them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. Or maybe yeah, like that could be more of like a elaborate prank, like somehow following them around, like not creepily, but just like somehow following them to every restaurant, and, like making sure they keep the customer receipt, like we slip it into their jean pocket, and they're like, I don't remember taking this.
right,
And then
right.
they could get into some sort of beef with their significant other, like, oh yeah, I didn't know you got the customer copy. Like, that's messed up.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
the moral of the story is please don't unfollow us once we
Yeah,
get to
please.
100. If you're
Yeah,
gonna
please.
unfollow us, do it before we get to 100.
Do it now.
I hope you don't.
Yeah.
Dude, Vogel, that didn't remind me, but there's something else I want to talk about before we sign off here. I think Jen accidentally elbowed me in my eye a few nights ago, and my eye was like in my sleep. I think I don't know. I
Oh,
woke
okay.
up and like my eye was like in pain. So I don't know if something got into it or whatnot, but it was kind of like sore for like 2 days. I think I accidentally got elbowed in my sleep. Regardless,
Yikes.
beside the point, it got me thinking of I got LASIK eye surgery in November, which is crazy because it feels like November was like a world away. Like
Yeah,
I
that was like another
really
lifetime
feel
ago.
like it was the same world. So even though it wasn't that long ago in theory, but so I got fucking LASIK eye surgery, and it's still ridiculous to me because me and Jana were cracking up talking about it because I was in so much pain after I got the surgery, right? Like they fucking shoot lasers into your eyes and like redesign your like your eyes and
It's complicated.
yeah, it's complicated stuff. That I'm not the surgeon, but it's painful. And for the 4 hours, you're not allowed to open your eyes for 4 hours after the surgery, and that's when it's the most painful. Like immediately after the surgery, and then it was painful for for maybe like 2 days, and then it started to get better. But the peak pain is right after the surgery. So they give you a numbing agent for your eye to numb it when the surgery happens. But obviously that numbing agent like wears off in like 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So when I was on my way to the surgery, the person I had talked to had said that they were like experimenting with like the medication they would give people before the surgery. She was like, yeah, we used to give them like Valium, but then we realized it didn't kick in quick enough. It's just, and I forget what they said, but they're like, yeah, we've been going back and forth trying to figure out what's a good like medication to give you for the surgery and like the pain after. And my Uber driver who picked me up, nice dude, and he would notice he was taking me to the LASIK place, and we started talking, and he was like, yeah, I got surgery like 6 months ago, and big dude, and he was like, yeah, they gave me like a small amount of Xanax. He's like, it didn't do anything. He was like, he kind of scared me. He was like, the surgery was terrifying. He was like,
Yeah, just not what you want to hear.
yeah, he was like, it's pretty, but he was like, I'm a big guy. That's probably why I didn't feel the medication. He was like, no, you're going to be fine. Like, don't worry, So I go there and I'm just like, all right, let's see what they're going to give me. Like, cause I was obviously pretty scared. Like they're about to laser my eye. Like this shit's going to be crazy. And they're like, all right. And they gave me, guess what they gave me? Guess what they gave me?
Like codeine?
No.
Like a Jolly Rancher?
No. You got one more.
Like Advil.
Close. That's a good guess. They gave me a Tylenol PM.
For surgery?
Before surgery. They gave me a Tylenol PM and a water to wash it down with. And said, all right, good luck. It was supposed to make me sleepy. That was the thought, that I would fall asleep after my surgery. Vogel, I was in so much pain. After like I said, they put the numbing agents on your eyes, you go through surgery, and then like 20 minutes, like on the drive home with Jenna after the surgery, I was in so much excruciating pain for like 4 hours. It was like my own personal hell. Like I imagine that's what hell is like, because I wanted to sleep, but I was in so much pain I couldn't, and I couldn't open my eyes, and I just laid there, and all I was thinking was, they gave me a fucking Tylenol PM.
Yeah, they treated you like a suburban mom. Like they said, this is gonna work.
If I was a suburban mom, they would have wined and dined me with some wine and Xanax. But
I was gonna say, actually, it's true. It might be something a little bit stronger.
They gave me a Tylenol PM, and I just can't get it. To this day, I have not forgiven the LASIK Eye Center. I think I should start it, but like that's just not okay. You can't just get your eyes lasered and just I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't make sense. I feel like that just can't be safe, and B
it's like the house was on fire and they bought like a 24 pack of like the tiny water bottles,
right.
And they're like unscrewing the cap and just like pouring it on like the house that's on fire.
It's like the shipment of pain medication didn't come in. So she's like, all right, what can you bring from home that we think is going to help this guy? And he's like, my wife said I can't get rid of my Xanax, so I've got some Advil PM for him. So yeah, Kev, I'm glad you shared that with me, and I'm glad you can see now. That's always beneficial.
Yeah, except now I've been getting into sun gazing. So there's a good chance I might lose my eyesight if it doesn't turn out well.
Wait, all right. Real quick question, and we gotta wrap it up because I'm pretty late to what I'm supposed to do right now. But when you say sun gazing, does that mean you just kind of stare at the sun directly, or what the hell is that?
Yeah, so I was listening to, I've heard it a couple of times on this podcast I listened to from a few guests that have come on, but like I said before, they seem cool, so I trust them. I trust what they say. I believe it 100%.
Right.
I'm kidding. But the theory is, obviously the common conception is that staring at the sun is dangerous. And it is. You burn, you can, like, with the UV rays, you can, like, burn your eyes, and, like, cause damage. But what this guy says is that you do it either in the hour right after sunrise or the hour before sunset. So that's when the UV index is at 0. So he says it's not painful for your eyes, but you just do like a couple sets of 30 seconds each. And there is a bunch of, people say, it's known that, like, vitamin D is, like, it's good to get out in the sun, it's good for energy, mood, all that stuff. But people think, like, it's like a spirituality, like, consciousness thing. Like, you can raise your consciousness by, like, standing into the sun. And this one crazy ass dude, so one dude I heard said only do it, like, right after sunrise or right before sunset, so you don't damage your eyes. Then this other, like, crazy ass hippie was just like, no, I do it at noon in the middle of the day for, they're like minutes, like 10 to 20 minutes. And he was, like, telling people, and I was like, that can't be, like, I'm not gonna take that chance, so I'm doing it the safe way.
Okay.
So I'm approaching it in a safe manner. I'm only doing it late at night, right before sunset, when the UV index is low. Because if you think about it, if you watch a sunset, you're looking right at the sun.
You're still looking
at
the sun.
Your eyes.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So
it's
fine.
Point.
Like, it doesn't, it's not too bad. But
yeah, I feel like that guy who just stares at it at noon is trying to be tougher than the sun, which is just impossible. But I see what you're saying. I can have some benefits to it. All right, I might have to check it out.
Dude, just because, like, the sun is, like, a crucial part of a lot of cultures and religions.
The sun is pretty important, yeah.
It is the source of everything, all energy on Earth. So maybe it does something for humans. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. That could be it. So, ladies and gentlemen, moral of today is that Ironman's a me guy, and that if you stare at the sun, it could have some benefits.
It could have some benefits. I'm not recommending this. I'm not, don't do it and blame me. But Bogle, it was great chatting, bro.
You too, man.
I hope I didn't sound like Nav on Astro World. I really hope my voice comes through clean, because we might have to re-record, because I can't put out another episode.
No, that's fair. I get it. I think it sounded good, except for that Wi-Fi issue, which actually might have been on my end. So we'll listen to it and see how it goes. But yeah, I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone who's listening. Quick shout out to Russell Barlow as well. Russ, hope you're doing well. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to ourselves, Kevin and I appreciate that. So Kev, why don't you send us off?
Yeah, again, thanks for listening. This is going to be our breakout episode. I think when the vocals come through clear, we get great reviews. I'm hammering the hell out of this. We're going to promote it. Let's break 100 views. Let's get on Apple Podcasts too.
Yeah,
we got to get on Apple Podcasts. This is
I haven't done much research on that, so hopefully we do this one.
No, you've been busy. You've been busy. We'll look into that this week. We'll try to get this one on Apple Podcasts. But yeah, thank you for listening, my fellow dirty kids. This is DK Radio.
DK Radio. See you later. Episode 6 coming out next week.